going to go with Clinton. In today's video, we're creating a chess game. But before we create a chess game, we're going to create a chessboard. You understand? So I'm going to show you how to create this chessboard you see on the screen with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And we are getting started now. So let's get. So look forward for the full chess game tutorial later on my channel. I'll make that tutorial on how to create a full chess game. But in this tutorial, we're going to be creating a chessboard for a chess game. So we are getting started now. So don't go away. Watch this video till the end. So let's get started now. So I have my HTML page whereby this chess container presents this. The chess container is here. Yeah, this is a marker for the chess container, and this is a style I added to it. This chess container represents this green border, the green border. So I'm going to create this child container, this small black white divs that are inside the container. I'm going to create them in JavaScript and show you how to arrange them like this with HTML and CSS. So we are doing that right now. So let's get into our code and start writing. So I've made the chess container already, which is already here, which is this. Okay, I've made a chess container. So I'm going to show you how to populate this container with those small white black boxes. You understand? Okay, so let's get into it. As you can see, I've already done this before, so I want to show you how to do it. I've done this before. So as you can see, this chessboard has 8 rows and 8 columns. These are the rows 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and these are the columns 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. As you can see, they have 8 rows and 8 columns. You can see the first row has 8 small boxes in it. 8 small boxes. Second one also has 8 small boxes. Then what each row have 8 boxes in them. You understand? So, and you can see those small boxes. The first box in a row. The first box, you can see the first row. The first box in the first row has a white background. While the last box, the last box in the first row has a black background. If you come down to the second row, it's quite different. You can see the first box in the second row has a black, while the 8th box has a white. So they are reversing. You can see the first row and the third row are similar. They have the same color of boxes. While the second and the fourth are similar. I like to say that the rows with odd numbers like 1, 3, 5, 7, they all have the same content, the same color of content. While the rows with even numbers like the second row, the 4th row, the 6th and the 8th rows, they all have the same content in them. So I'm going to show you how to do this with JavaScript, how to populate this box with JavaScript, and we are getting started now. So let's get down to our JavaScript file. So you can see these are our JavaScript file over here. So let's write the code for this. So we are going to create 8 loops. These 8 loops represent the 8 rows we have on the chessboard. So let's create our first loop. Let's say for I equals to 0, I equals to 1, I is less than 9, I is less than 9, I plus plus. This loop is going to run 8 times. You understand? It's going to run 8 times. Thereby, you're going to create these 8 small boxes. You're going to create these 8 small boxes in the first row. As I said, I'm going to create 8 loops. So this loop we have here represents the first row on the chessboard. And inside that loop, I'm going to write a code that's going to create these small boxes and give them this color as they are. You understand? You can see in the first row, the first box in the first row has a white background color, and the first box here has an index of 1, the second one 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You understand? So you can see in the first row, any box that's an odd number, any box with an index that equates any box that has an odd number as its index is going to have a white background color, and the box with an index number that is even will have a black background color. You can see the first one has one. The first one is one is an odd number. That's why this tells you that the first box in the first row has a color of white. The third element, the third three is an odd number. That says that the third box in the first row going to have a background color of white. Five. So 1, 3, 5, 7. Those are the odd numbers in the first row. So those numbers are going to have a background color of white. So the even numbers have a background color of black. So I'm going to show you how to do that now. I'm talking too much. Let's do that now on the Java on our text editor. I'm going to, as I said, our for loop is going to run 8 times, and during the course of it running 8 times, I'm going to write a code that's going to create these 8 boxes. So when it's running 8 times, it should be creating 8 boxes for us. Simple. Let's let box1 equal to document does create elements div. We're going to create 8 divs for us. 8 divs. So I'm going to write let box1 let box1. So I'm going to write an if statement. Let's say if I is going to run 8 times. I is going to run 8 times here. Whereby the first is going to run when it is 1, when it is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Since it is less than, since it can't go more than 9. So you're going to stop at 8. Understand? So I'm going to run 8 times now. So I said so whenever I is an even number, whenever I is an odd number. So let's say if I modulus 2 is equal to 0, what this does that whenever we divide I by 2, if its remainder is equal to 0, so you should do this. So now say box1. So say if I modulus 2 is equal to 0, that will say that if I divided by 2 is equal to 0, during the first iteration I is going to be 1, the second iteration I is going to be 2, the third iteration I is going to be 3, fourth iteration I is going to be 4, upward like that till the 8th iteration whereby I is going to be 8. Understand? So I say if I this says that if I is modulus 2, it says that whenever I is divided by 2 and it gives you a remainder of 0, that tells you that I is an even number. So if I is an even number, the box created should have a background color of black. That's for the first row. So now say box1 or style dot background. The background color should be equal to black. So we say else, if it is not an even number, box1 or style dot background color, box1 or style dot background color should be equal to white. Understand? That's for the first row. So let's just copy and paste this. Ctrl C. So we're going to paste it 8 times. We're going to paste it 7 times more. So Ctrl V. So let's change this to box2. So for the second row, the first element has a background color. For the second row, the first element in the second row has a background color of black. You can see it has a background color of blacks now. So I'm going to change this to. So I'm going to say that if I divided by 2, so I'm going to say that this should be white and this should be black. This represents the odd number for the elements in the second row. This is for the odd number. As you can see, the first element there which is 1. 1 is an odd number, it has a background color of black. Understand? So this is an odd number, so we copy and keep on pasting till we get down to the 8th one. So we change this to so I said the third one should be black and white. That's right. The third one should be black and white. Yes, everybody. Yes, that's correct. So the fourth one we have to change it to control. So we have to change this to 3, 3, 3. So paste one more time. For the fourth one, Control V. So what's the fourth one like? The fourth one, 2, 3, 4. You can see the odd numbers are gonna have the background color of black. So let's go change that. Odd numbers have a background color of black, and the even numbers have a background color of white. So let's change that to for box 4, 4, 4. So let's go down for the fifth one. You can leave the fifth one, it's okay. We don't need to change the colors. The fifth one, we don't need to change the color. So let's see for the fifth row, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The odd numbers in the fifth row all have the background color of white. So the odd number, so that's it. This the else represent the odd number. Why the if here represent the even numbers. So we don't need to change that. So let's get down to the sixth row. Control V. So change it to 6, 6, 6, 6. Let's see what the sixth row looks like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is sixth row. The odd numbers in the sixth row are black, while the even numbers are white. Looking at the seventh, Control V has said each for loop represents a particular row. So let's change again. Let's continue. So change this to 7. Let's say 7, 7. Okay, let's see what the seventh row looks like. The odd numbers here are white. Yeah, that's okay. So the eighth one now. Thank God you're almost done. 8. So 8. 8, yeah. Okay. For the eighth row, the odd numbers are black. Odd numbers are black. While the evens are white. Black and the evens are white. So we've created all the small boxes we need, all these small black and white boxes we have on the chessboard. We have created everything. What we need to do now is to append these boxes to the parent container. So I'm going to do that now. So these are parent container here. These are parent container that has an ID of chess container, and here's the style we added to it. So let's pick this parent container with JavaScript. So let's chess container. Let chess container equal to documents.get elements by ID chess container. So we need to copy this part to the top. We need to take this to the top. So let's say Ctrl X, take it down to the top. Should be on top. So Ctrl V. So we need to append each row to the chess container. We need to append each rows to the chess container. So let's do that here. So let's say chess container.append child, chess container.append child box 1. Box 1. So let's see how this like. It's working. The containers, you can see I just appended all the elements in the first row to the chess container, to the to the parent container, which is called chess container. I just did that. So let's copy and paste. Copy, Ctrl C. So we paste this for the second loop, Ctrl V. So box 2. So keep on doing that. We get down to the 8th one. So here's box 3. Ctrl V. Change this to 3. Let's get down to the 8th one. We can go upward again. Ctrl V. Change this to 8. Ctrl V. Change this to 7. Ctrl V. Change this to 6. Please, if you don't understand anything here, please just drop it in the comment section. I'll be glad to answer your questions. Okay, it should be for the fifth row. So let's change this to 5. This should be for the fourth row. Control V and 4. So let's see our page. Let's see what it looks like. Okay, there's nothing showing. You can see there's nothing showing on the boxes are not yet showing on the chest on the parent container. Why? That's because those boxes don't yet have their heights and their width. That's why they are not showing yet. So don't worry, that's gonna be solved very soon. In CSS, there's something we call grid in CSS. I'm gonna use CSS grid system on the chest container. So it's gonna arrange the individual boxes like this. As you can see, we have 8 equal divs. We have small divs that have the same width and height shared through the container. We have these divs here. You can see they all have the same width, the same height, the same width and height shared across the whole container. You can see they all have you can see they have 8 columns and 8 rows, and those 8 columns have been shared equally by these smaller divs. They have been shared equally, the 8 rows and the 8 columns. So I'm going to show you how to do that with CSS, whereby the parent container can append children and give them equal spaces. So that's what we have a CSS grid comes to. So let's put in display grid, the parent element, display grid. So now say grid column templates, grid template column, sorry, should be, let's say, should repeat, let's say, in CSS grid, there's something we call the grid template columns. This helps us to like give each individual each individual content of a parent container. It helps to give them some specific widths and height. So for the columns, for example, I can just say 50 pixels. As I say, I need 8 columns. A chessboard has 8 columns and 8 rows, so I need 8 columns. I will just be writing 50 pixels 8 times, then I get to like this one presents 2 columns. Now let's see how the page looks like. I can see for 2 columns, they are giving up for 2 columns. But if I don't want to stress myself, they gave us a simple approach to solving this. We will just use the repeat. Just repeat. I need how many columns? I need 8 columns, right? Repeat 8. Repeat. No. Repeat 8. 1FR. This helps to share the whole column equally. It helps to give us 8 equal columns inside the chest container without coming out of the chest. It helps to give us. It helps to divide the chest container into 8 equal columns. You understand? 8 equal columns now. So as it's now like this now, our boxes, those child elements created with JavaScript, will now have a specific width and height. But we don't know the width and height now. What it just helps us this grid template row. We have to use the display grid first, the grid template columns. So this repeats 81FR does what? It helps to divide that chest container into 8 equal columns. 8 equal columns, and that 8 equal columns is divided into that it has given us. They all have a specific width and height. You understand? They all have a specific width and height. So let's see what our page looks like now. You can see, boom. You can see now we all have I can see they're all arranged now properly. You can see 8. They all have the same width, height. Thanks to the grid. I've been working with this before. I'm using this to explain to you. But now it's what we just created. So if I reduce the width, if I reduce the size now of the parent container to 200 pixels, to still give us, you can see it's now smaller. That display grid and the grid template column has been a great help to us in coding. It helps, I can see, even despite the size of the container, you're going to divide this container into 8 equal columns. You can see it's now smaller than it was before. So let's just give it a background, a blue border to differentiate it from the other. You can see as a blue border, this has a green border. You can see we are through with this. We have Thank you so much for watching till this. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel as I'll keep on uploading regular coding updates and tutorial on this channel. So if you don't want to miss out on my future videos and tutorials, so subscribe now so you won't miss out. Thank you once again. Have a wonderful day and bye bye.